I am testing for the May 2023 IB testing session. My global issue is culture, beliefs, and values, and specifically I'll be going in and talk about the commitment to achieving one's dream, which leads to self-sacrifice. The global issue is relevant since commitment is a universal topic, and that ties into the values, since the degree of how you're committed, the degree of your commitment is kind of measured in how far you're willing to go to achieve your dreams or goals, and that just ties back into the argument, which is the commitment that leads to self-sacrifice, which is shown in two of the works that I've chosen. My non-literary work being the Dream Crazy Nike ad campaign, and my literary work being The Great Gatsby by Fitzgerald, made in 1925. And for my first excerpt, The Great Gatsby, it was made in the mid-1920s, which is significant since that was after the First World War, and after the First World War, America was experiencing this economy boom or boost, which kind of influenced many of the Americans' ideology, as their desire to pursue prosperity was increasing, and that a ideology that was becoming more popular was the American dream, which is reflected in The Great Gatsby, since the story revolves around Jay Gatsby pursuing this dream of having and obtaining this relationship with Daisy Buchanan, and then just ultimately tying into that American dream, and then portraying commitment by their shows of effort and action and dedication. In the specific extract from pages 98 to 99, it shows that it basically just talks about how George Wilson was trying to seek revenge to find the killer of his wife, and he was just inspired by God, which is why it justified his actions and stuff. And in the first sentence, it states, his movement was on foot all the time, where afterwards traced to Port Roosevelt and then to Gad's Hill, where he bought a sandwich that he didn't eat and a cup of coffee. So this sentence is very long, which kind of connotates his dedication to finding the answer to who killed his wife. But then also, since it's a long sentence, it sets a slower pace, showing that he spent so much time and how he put in so much time and effort into finding who the killer was. And further down in the extract, it says that bystanders were describing him as acting sorts of crazy, which ties into the self-sacrifice aspect of my argument, since he is giving up his mental health to find the killer of his wife, since he's so dedicated that he lost his capability in his actions, because he's so drawn into that goal. And then also physically, he is seen in the first sentence to be moving on foot all the time, which also leads to that physical part of self-sacrifice. And also he is seen to not eat, which is also contributing factor to his self-sacrifice, as he dismisses his dietary needs to find the answer to his goal. And then further down in the extract, Nick comments on Gatsby, similar to how George Wilson's commitment to his dream. Nick comments on Gatsby's commitment to his dream of pursuing the relationship to Daisy. Nick says that he has paid a high price for living too long with a single dream, and that single dream is just a symbolism of Daisy, and kind of eludes, and it's also an illusion to Daisy. Nick just comments how much that how much Gatsby sacrificed to be in that relationship with Daisy, and he sacrificed his whole life, where he revolved his whole life in the pursuit of a relationship with her. And then we see him like shaping and molding himself into someone that was far from where he came from, just to be that ideal person that Daisy would want to be, which is he is like seen to like sacrifice his own identity just to be with his dream, which is the relationship with Daisy. Overall, we see that like the two characters in The Great Gatsby, Wilson and Gatsby, they're seen to like be committed with their dream, which led to like their commitment to their dream, shown through like their action and time and effort that they put into that. And following that idea, the non-literary work Dream Crazy, Nike ad campaign, reflects the same message, where the ad revolves around like the idea of self-sacrifice to achieving a dream. Originally, the Nike ad campaign was based off of Colin Kaepernick's football scandal, and on the billboard that was originally the Nike ad campaign, it famously said, "Believe in something, even if it means sacrificing everything," and that's what the Dream Crazy Nike ad campaign based their message around, that famous quote. And in the first screen cap, it captures the athlete Isaiah Bird. Isaiah Bird is captured in like this eye level medium long shot, and that just for background, originally he was born without legs, and he's like achieved so many things as a competitive wrestler, like setting these big records and like achievements, and this shot serves the purpose of like seeing this athlete as just a person rather than seeing like putting emphasis on his disability, and then that because it's portraying only like his upper half of his body, it just like portrays the feeling of sameness, which is also what the eye level shot serves, the feeling of sameness, and that ties into the next screen capped, Zina Nazar. She is a German boxer coming from Lebanese descent. She is known for making to overturn this boxing rule of prohibiting boxers from wearing like headpieces and hijabs to like the competitive boxing scene field, and we see that she is captured in this medium close shot at eye level as well, showing like putting emphasis on the hijab for the medium close shot, because it just reflects on her achievement of overturning that rule, and then also putting emphasis on her facial expressions, showing that like she is like brave and like strong, and that just reflects on like what it took for her to overturn that rule. And then in my next screen cap, it shows Serena Williams. She is a famous and competitive tennis player, and has many achievements of being like, she is just known for being like a great tennis player. And in the screen cap it states, "If you're a girl from Compton, don't just become a tennis player, become the greatest athlete ever." And that just alludes to her achievements that she's made as a tennis player, as like she already has achieved being the greatest tennis player, but she has gone beyond that to do more than just being a great tennis player. And then overall, the Nike Dream ad campaign just puts emphasis on like setting dreams high and then like having this big dream. And then shown in these three athletes, it's just seeing how like their dedication, work, and effort paid off to like achieving their big dream and goal, which in conclusion just ties all the two literary and non-literary work together, showing how their commitment to their dream leads to like the self-sacrifice.
Okay, all right, thank you. Well, let's start with Gatsby. So what did Gatsby sacrifice?
He sacrificed his, basically I said he sacrificed his whole life, since he started off as like someone who was like considered to be like poor, and he like threw away all of his background, especially like his name and then his like identity and origin, just to like become, because he changed his name from James Gatz to Jay Gatsby, which kind of shows how he sacrificed his identity based on like how he just like completely erased his origin and like building someone that he wants to be. Yeah, so he just sacrificed his identity just for the reason of trying to be presentable and more appealing to Daisy Buchanan.
And ultimately, what did he sacrifice?
Ultimately, I would say he sacrificed his morality, because this series of events was caused by him trying to conceal Daisy's like accident, the car accident of Daisy, and he lost his morality because but he also lost his life because he was trying to conceal the fact that she killed someone, and because of that, the evidence led to him ultimately just having him killed, because all the evidence just led to George killing him. Yeah.
Tom had a role in that too, right?
Yes.
Okay. In the passage that you chose, can you talk about Fitzgerald's writing style?
I would say especially for the line, the section lines 23 to 32, we see that he uses heavy imagery. We see that he also uses simile, comparing like the rose. It's the rose to like kind of symbolize Daisy, and also he also uses irony as he describes the rose as grotesque, since like they're like two opposing concepts that like yeah.
And a new world, material world without real, where poor ghosts, breathing dreams like air, drifted fatuously about, like that ashen. And so what figure of speech is used there?
He used simile. He says that breathing dreams like air, comparing that like the need for air is like equally as important as the dream.
Okay. That you needed to survive, right? Or that he needed it to survive.
Yes.
Right? Good. All right, let's go to Dream Crazy. Of all the athletes that Nike uses in this commercial, which one do you think speaks the loudest to the audience?
I think the person that speaks the loudest in my screen cap is especially Isaiah Bird. Compared to other athletes who are like able-bodied, he is one of the few who were like disabled, and it kind of, since he's like shown as like one of the first athletes in the ad, it kind of just stands out, since like he has no lower portion of his body, and he's seen to like be able to still wrestle competitively, and that just stands out to them because it just has like this contrast of like, oh, able body and then like disabled people, but like still can like relate to each other because they're still like reaching and like achieving that big dream.
Okay, I'm going to ask you, I know we're over time, but I'm going to ask you, so then what did Bird sacrifice?
I would say he ultimately just sacrificed like his time, as that's like a big self-sacrifice. He sacrificed his time to like become this good and like great athlete.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. That concludes our I.O.